Welcome to a More Beautiful World podcast with Susyn Renee, a place for those of us with the desire to expand our consciousness, tap into higher vibrations of love, and to connect into a community where together we can make the world a more beautiful place. I'm so eager to share with you what I've learned on my journey in discovering how we're all connected and how what we do for one, we do for us all. Here, I'll be sharing my own experiences, knowledge, and expertise for how you can heal, transform, and ascend your being so that together we can create the more beautiful world we all know is possible. Well, hello, and welcome. I am your host, Susyn Renee, and I want to welcome you to a More Beautiful World podcast. I'm super excited to be with you here and to be launching this podcast. So, today in this episode, I do want to introduce you to a More Beautiful World podcast and share my vision and my intention of creating this with you. I'm going to be blending a little bit of practical with a little bit of philosophical throughout this podcast as well as future podcasts. And I really want to take you through an experience of understanding that how together we can make a more beautiful world, and it is possible. So, with that, that is what we're going to cover today. Again, I'm welcoming you here and want to be clear on what everything is all about. So, I want to start with a disclaimer. Nothing in this world is for certain. Okay, this podcast is being created to share with you what I have experienced and what resonates with me, what I have learned, and what I have also unlearned, what I found to be helpful, and things that have really connected with me and helped me to feel more at peace, what I believe to be true for me. But it's also what I do believe to be true for us all. So this may resonate with you as well. It may not. Maybe some of it will resonate with you, and maybe some of it won't. But all of that is okay. All right. This is a judgment-free zone. But I do know that those of you who feel connected to these words that I'll be sharing, that are falling upon your ears, and the people who really do resonate with this message and my truth in sharing, you will join me on this journey to make it a more beautiful world. So again, I do thank you for being here and for showing up for yourself and for showing up for us all. So a larger part of my intention with this podcast and with my business, the Ascension Tribe, is to create a community. So a community of us tribe brothers and sisters who are eager and hungry and ready for a real connection. People who are over this story of separation, of feeling disconnected, of feeling isolated, and who are really looking for a space to connect in a space of non-judgment and full acceptance of who you are in your authentic self. This is a community that values freedom and kindness, and a community that is focused on ultimately creating a more beautiful world with more compassion, more kindness, more acceptance. And also for those of you who also know and desire in the heart of your hearts that a more beautiful world is possible for us all. So let's talk a little bit about a more beautiful world, because right now our planet is suffering. Our people are suffering. There are so many atrocities happening on this planet each and every day that are affecting us in each and every way. And with that, I do believe we are all connected. I think historically, we have been told that there is so much separation between us, right? That you are different from me. And, it can be in politics, right? It could be the left versus the right. It could be really in race, right? Black versus white. All of that is a story of separation. And I do believe it's an old story that needs to be removed from our being. It needs to be removed from our belief systems, because we are all connected. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, your beliefs about politics. We are so connected, you guys. And if you study quantum physics, which I have been dabbling in a little bit, and you think about how much we are just space, right? There's so much space that we are, and there's only a little tiny bit of matter. And when you start to look at the infinite amount of space out there and how grand the universe and the cosmos are, when it comes down to our human existence and our Earth Mother, our planet Earth, we are all connected. And with that, it is my intention to teach you guys just how connected we are, but also this concept, and this is at the core of it, that what we do for one, we do for us all. So, what you do to improve yourself is going to benefit the greater good. And as we start to choose to work on ourselves, the moment we start to, begin to raise our own vibration and raise our own level of consciousness, it is for the greater good of all that raises the consciousness of humanity. And so I think for so long we've been told that, our own, individual contributions are insignificant, right? There's no way one person can change the world. Well, I'm here to challenge that because I do believe that if each and every one of us are working on ourselves and working to spread more kindness and compassion in the world, we absolutely together it adds up to make the world a more beautiful place. And when you start to see and operate from this story of interbeing, this story of connectedness, that is what ultimately will make the world a more beautiful place. So, a lot of what I'll be talking about, I want to just do a quick plug for the book that inspired me to really get this podcast going. It is called The More Beautiful World, Our Hearts Know Is Possible by Charles Eisenstein. And in that book, he talks about how we've been told for so long, in our culture, in our society, in our relationships, that there is this story of separation, and how in order to get to this more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. In his book, he talks about the story of interbeing and how we all are connected. And so, as I've seen it in my own experience, as well as in my clients' experiences as well, and this is a core belief I hold, and I ask you to really feel into your heart right now and see if this resonates with you. Do you feel that as you improve yourself and as you are more kind and you are more compassionate, do you feel that that benefits others? Right? If you are getting a resounding yes right now, or even if you're feeling a little bit of your heart resonating with the words I'm sharing, I really ask you to feel into that, and question, do we have opportunities to go on our own journey of self-discovery and our own journey of self-improvement in order to benefit all things, right? To benefit our partners, our spouses, our children, our parents, right? Our extended family, our communities, right? There is this ripple effect. So get curious about that for yourself and see if it really resonates with you, because I do believe that shifting our belief systems to that story is really going to be a big part of making our world a more beautiful place. So, with that, let's talk a little bit about the journey, right? The journey through life and how we can really do our own inner work, right? To find our peace within so there can be more peace in the outside world. I know personally, as I've gone on my journey in life, I have experienced a lot. And during this, these podcast episodes, I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of stories, a lot of experiences. Hopefully, you'll find them a bit entertaining, but also inspiring. But I've learned a lot of really core concepts that have helped me in my personal journey, on, the physical side, the mental side, the emotional side, the spiritual side. We're going to be covering all aspects. But I have really in my life gone through a lot. And in this last really year to 18 months at the time of this recording, I have discovered some of the biggest lessons in my life where I have been doing so much more doing than actual being as a human and being myself. And doing sometimes can be disruptive to our authenticity and to our natural ways of being. I've also discovered that I had this streak of self punishment that had been going on and had been doing a lot and punishing myself and working from this place of not feeling enough. And so working from a place of punishment and never feeling good enough and always trying to please people. And even in small ways, even though I've always had a very kind heart, I recognized, how I had been being unkind to people. And in this journey, it has really expanded my awareness into my own personal opportunity areas. And it's given me a lot of experience and knowledge and wisdom to share with you all. And on the more positive side, we could call it, on the reverse side of that, I've also had such a powerful year in having moments of connection with the divine. And I have felt some of the deepest peace within my heart that I have ever felt in my life. I have felt so connected to our planet, to the wisdom of the planet. And there's even been moments in this last year where I've literally felt the pulse of our earth and the whispers in the wind from spirit. And these are the things I want you to be able to do as well. And I think that when we can all find that sacred connection within ourselves and find our alignment and find that highest connection, right? You can call it your soul, you can call it your higher self, your divine self, your sacred alignment. There's a lot of different ways we can talk about that. But when you find that alignment, you can finally start to expand your self-awareness. You can become more mindful in the moment. You can have more awareness on what you're doing day in and day out and each moment and each day. And I believe that as you are doing this inner work and as you are expanding your awareness, we ultimately then find our authentic self. We find our truest, most authentic version of ourselves. And we can share our gifts with the world when we know what our authentic truth is, right? Once we have gone through the healing and we can embody and align with that higher self, that is when we come into a place of really aligned purpose and can turn around and share our gifts with the world. And I'm here to tell you, the world needs your gifts, right? If we are to make this world a more beautiful place, we do all need to get to that place where we can see this interconnectedness and we can come to a place where we can freely share our gifts with the world. And it is my intention to cultivate this community so we can do it all together. And I am inviting you to, come out of these shadows, to come. I think the energy of our planet is raising right now, and our vibration of our planet is increasing, to invite us to help shake us out of the stagnation that we've been in, and having these routine patterns playing in our minds. And it's asking and inviting us to come out of the shadows and to step away from this story of separation and to let go of that story of separation and see that it is no longer serving us. It has not been working, and begin to embrace our connectedness and embrace the sacredness of our interbeing and really start to embody this in your day-to-day life. So with that, right? Again, what we do for one, we do for us all. So it does begin with you. And it's always been my vision to make the world a more beautiful place. And even when I was younger, I just always knew I wanted to be a leader and I wanted to lead people to feel better and to make the world a better place. And I never knew how exactly I was going to do that. And in studying holistic medicine, holistic lifestyle, nutrition practices, studying meditation, studying spirituality, I am starting to see how that picture is coming together for me and finding again my true voice, my authentic self, my confidence, my strength to get up here and begin to share it with you all, because we're at a time where we can't hold back our gifts anymore. They must be shared. And I believe we all need to, again, start to align with this new story of interbeing in order to make it happen. So, with that, I want to share a few topics that I'll be exploring as time goes on in this podcast, just to give you a little taste of some of the things we're going to be going through. Again, I'm going to be kind of shifting and just going with my own flow of what's feeling good, but there's going to be a lot of practical things that we go through in this podcast as the episodes come out. There's also going to be a lot of philosophical things. So we're covering all mind, body, spirit aspects. And again, I'll be oscillating as spirit calls to me. I use a lot of my intuition to guide me in the episodes. And so as I'm being called to what we need during this time, I'm going to be sharing that. So a few things though that I have scheduled will be, we're going to have a whole episode on expanding our awareness and how to do that, how to bring in practices that can help us expand our awareness so we can live more mindfully and live more in that story of interbeing. We're also going to be talking about the divine feminine versus the divine masculine, and how we want to have a balance there and have those two energies that are within each of us be in harmony. And in that episode, I'll be talking a bit about how I believe we need more divine feminine energy. We've all been coming from this very masculine time, so we'll talk about that. Also, be talking about things like finding your sacred alignment, only making decisions when it is a true fuck yes, and not like a maybe, right? I always tell my clients, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's a fuck no. So we're going to talk about that and break that down. Also be digging into things like the concept of being versus doing, and also being able to have this and that, right? Things like self-acceptance, embracing your light and your dark, and again, getting into that duality within ourselves. We'll be talking about law of attraction, manifestation, mindfulness, going to bring in some stuff about quantum physics and quantum healing, quantum jumping, quantum entanglement. So we'll be talking a bit about that. Also, again, some of the more practical things, how to use food as medicine. What are the 5 elements in traditional Chinese medicine? How do we get into the energetics of the body by using food and herbs as medicine? We'll be talking about plant medicines as well, and what those beautiful medicines have to offer us on our journeys as we are looking to make the world a more beautiful place. We'll be talking about increasing our energy production and practices like breath work and ecstatic dance and meditation and yoga. So much more too, you guys, by the way. Like, that is just a sampling of all the things I want to start digging into and sharing with you guys. So with that, again, this is all coming from my own education, my own knowledge, my own wisdom, my own experiences. I am not standing here. Well, I'm actually sitting. I'm not sitting here today, trying to tell you that I'm a guru and that I know it all. But what I can tell you, just from my being as a human in this experience, I have had a lot of connections with the divine, and I do know how connected we all are. And I do know it's time for us to start recognizing that connection, to recognize the sacredness that we all are connected, and that each and every choice you are making for yourself is affecting everyone. And I think once we can all get into alignment with that, we can start to truly make this a more beautiful world. So I want to kind of finish up here and ask you guys to get a bit curious. Okay, because I know some of the things I talked about, you might resonate with, you might feel really good about. Some of the things maybe you don't agree with. And again, that's okay. But I think everything on this journey does begin with curiosity. And that is kind of a key to expanding your awareness as well, which we'll be talking about very soon. So I'm going to ask you guys to get curious and start questioning your habits, start questioning your motives, start questioning your belief systems, and start to just ask a few more questions. Neuroscientist Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks all about how we are programs. We are just these programs running and running, and as we get older, we pretty much just become a program that's running. And so we go on autopilot a lot of the times, and we make all of these choices based on our belief systems, based on things that our communities, our families, our churches have told us as we've been growing up. And sometimes we're making choices that really aren't even coming from us. They are coming from something our spouse said 5 years ago, or they are coming from something your parents were telling you 25 years ago, or they are coming from something you heard at church, 18 years ago, whatever it is. So as you're starting to dig into the story of interbeing, I want you to start to get curious and start asking the questions about your habits. Where are your choices coming from? Are they coming from you? Are they coming from a different story, a different belief system, something that maybe you never owned yourself? So get curious about that. I'm also going to invite you all to start to ask yourself if you feel that you're living in balance right now, and that are you living in harmony? And with that, I would ask you to question your relationship to others and your immediate life. Are you living in harmony with your partner, with your children, with your animals, with your parents, whoever it may be? But also, are you living in harmony with the earth? Are you living in harmony with all the brothers and sisters on this planet? And start to ask yourself that as you're going through your days. And that is going to start to connect us into the story of interbeing. All right. So again, I love you all so much, and I'm so glad you're here. And I want to just, again, thank you all for showing up, for taking the time to talk about the story of interbeing with me today, to talk about the reason and the intention for this podcast, to make it a more beautiful world. And remember, a more beautiful world does begin with you. Okay, until next time, much love to you, tribe. I appreciate, I honor, I respect each and every one of you, and I will be so eager to be back with you again soon. Hey, tribe, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this podcast, make sure to like the video below and then click subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, I've got lots of free resources available to you to support your healing, transformation, and ascension, so you can help in making this a more beautiful world for us all. Make sure you check them out in the description below. Thanks again for tuning in, tribe. And until next time, much love to you all.